Here's another look at my quarantine tank. And the quarantine period has come to an end. I'm going to be moving some of these fish to their final destinations. Just last week I finally put the quarantine meds in this tank. The medication trio of ICX, General Cure, and erythromycin. And everyone's looking good. Well, except for since then, of the three autosynclus that I had in here, one of those did die, and of the remaining two, I did already move one of them to my 30-gallon community tank, and I was going to do both of those at the same time, but the other one I couldn't find. One of them was just up against a glass, so he was easy to catch. But the other one's still in here. I wanted to do those guys sooner just because they were looking pretty skinny, and one of them, as I mentioned, I initially got 4. One of them died prior to putting the meds in the tank, and one of them died shortly after. And so, this tank has pretty lousy lighting, so it doesn't get really any algae growth, and I need the autos to feed on some algae, so I moved one of them already, but the other one's still in here somewhere. I saw it earlier. Looking kind of skinny, but hopefully he'll fatten up. I have autos in my 30-gallon. The ones that have been in there are pretty plump and healthy and appear as if they're getting enough to eat. So I was going to move the rest of these, or the fish that are going to be moved. I was going to do that tonight, but I kind of got home later than I thought I would, and when I do that, I want to watch them when I let them go, release them into their tanks. I want to have a chance to be able to watch them for a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that tonight. And I say tonight, but probably when I submit this video, it'll be the next day. Right now it's Saturday night, but it'll probably be Sunday morning sometime when I upload this video. So these two in this frame, got the roseline shark and the neon dwarf gourami. Those are going to be the centerpiece fish of my 30-gallon. So, roseline sharks are more like schooling fish, but I'm gonna see how it goes as a centerpiece fish. He'll be the one and only of his species. We'll see how that goes, because my 30-gallon has a lot of guppy and platy fry, and that tank is getting pretty crowded. Though this tank is crowded, all the guppies in here, most of them were adults when they were put into this tank, but when I got them, I got these guppies from a bunch of them from a lady that was giving guppies away. So I had probably got 30 of these adults and 30 fry, and maybe a few of those fry have grown up, and the adults have had fry of their own in this tank, but there's not a lot of survivors. And when when I added the roseline shark and the dwarf gourami, and that's when it was more noticeable that they were less fry, even with the, you know, as many guppies as there are, and you know, that knowing that they'll eat their own babies, there's still, you know, plenty of them, you know, in this clump of, you know, mostly in this Java moss right here. But I didn't witness any of it, but I suspect this dude's been eating pretty good, along with that dude, probably. I suspect it's one of those two or both that have been responsible for keeping the guppy fry to a minimum. So we'll see how they do in my 30 gallon when I put them in there. Even though that is has a lot more plant cover. I mean, this is, you know, being my quarantine tank, I just threw in a clump of Java moss and Anacris clippings I just threw in here, just because that grows so fast in my 30 gallon. Alright, so along with those two and the roseline shark and the dwarf gourami, that redwag platy is going to be going with them in that 30 gallon, along with 3 Julie Corys. All these right here, those are bronze Corys. The Julies look like they're kind of out of sight. In the bottom and the back, it's kind of just the way this tank is. It's darker over here on the right side. Can't really see them. And that yellow cobra antler, those will all be moving together. And well, I mentioned the auto is going to be going with them too. And then I have a 5.5 gallon that has a couple white clouds in it already, and there's 5 white clouds in here, so all those are going to be moved out of this tank into that one, so I'll have a group of 7 white clouds together in that tank. And that same tank has 3 virgin female fancy guppies. So one of these layer tail guppies, one of these males is going to be the lucky one to join them. Not sure really which one. I mean, I'll observe them closely, and one of the, I might have one like picked out, but then once they swim around, they do all look similar enough that I probably won't be able to tell them apart. Maybe that one right there. One that has, I want, or one of these two, or one that has like some of those black dots that like common guppies have. Maybe that one, if I can pick him out. I'm also going to, I have this 2.5 or 2 gallon hexagon tank that I'm going to put a pair of guppies in there, see how they do. My first thought was just whichever the first male and first female that end up in the net is what I'll move in there. But I think I'm going to leave out some of the bigger females. So one of the, you know, excluding maybe like the 5 biggest females in here. And then I think I'll just stick to the plan of whatever the first male that ends up in the net. So yeah, this is the last look at these guys, or some of these guys. I mean, most of the guppies in here are just going to stay in here, along with the bronze cories. But for the non-guppies and non-bronze cories, they're going to be moving. So this is the last look at them in this tank, and then, you know, pretty crowded for in a 10-gallon tank with all this, you know, this big population. I think I'll enjoy it in the 30-gallon, and he still gonna have a lot more growing to do. It's probably maybe 3 inches or so right now, and I guess they can grow double in size, you know, as much as 6 inches. But it is a cool looking fish, regardless of being, you know, they're supposed to be a schooling fish, but I think just one in a 30-gallon as a centerpiece fish he'll look good in there. Alright, so I'll probably maybe tomorrow or the next day, well actually from when I submit this, that is, I'll add some more videos of, maybe I'll show them in transit mode as they get acclimated, but I'll for sure show them in their, once they're released in their tanks. Then I'll finally do a more thorough video on my 30-gallon when it'll finally have all of its occupants. Alright, so stay tuned for that, and in case you didn't already know, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies, and I enjoy kitties. Thanks for watching.